It's Sunday, November the 1st, 2015. Welcome to NetCast News. I'm Andy Zajac. Here's what's happening. In a desolate area of stony ground in the Sinai Peninsula, little remains from the Russian plane that crashed a day ago, except the blackened wreckage and, not too far away, a heap of colorful suitcases. As the Russian investigators move slowly across the site, Egyptian military helicopters buzz overhead, combining the wider area for debris and for bodies not yet found. All 224 on board, including 17 children, died after the flight from the Egyptian resort of Sharm el-Sheikh to St. Petersburg, Russia, crashed into a mountainous area near the Sinai Peninsula, shortly after losing radar contact. Although Russian news agencies quoted local aviation officials saying the Airbus 321 broke up in the air, but it is currently undetermined. If there was a problem, there would be some form of distress call, but there was none, and the plane simply dropped from the sky. Could this be the retaliation by ISIS, or ISIL as they are known, by affiliated militants in Egypt that are claiming responsibility for Russia dropping bombs in Syria? Whatever the outcome, it will likely not tell you the real answers that families want to know. The United States' legacy in Iraq presumably goes beyond death to a living nightmare of cancer and birth defects because of the military's use of depleted uranium weapons, a World Health Organization study found. Iraq is poisoned. Much of the report's contents were leaked to the BBC during its creation, but the release of the report, completed in 2012 by the WHO, has stalled. Critics allege the U.S. is deliberately blocking its unharness, masking a damning Middle East legacy rivaling the horrors of Agent Orange in Vietnam. But Iraq can always remember the U.S. intervention as mothers cradle babies bearing the scars obtained in the womb. The continuing gifts of the U.S. invasion. Although the U.S. accused Iraq of weapons of mass destruction, nothing was ever found. Yet it is most likely that oil and other resources may have been the goal of the U.S. invasion. A sad reminder of what war does when a country is invaded for no apparent reason. Verizon versus the Federal Communications Commission could weaken internet regulations, which Electronic Frontier Foundation and different digital freedom advocates allege would produce a two-tiered internet system. Under the FCC's proposed new rules, companies such as Comcast or Verizon might charge entities to use faster bandwidth that advocates say would produce money barriers to free speech and encourage censorship. Project Censored alleges corporate outlets like the New York Times and Forbes tend to focus on the business aspect of the case, skimming over the important specifics affecting the public and the Internet's future. If big business sticks its nose where it doesn't belong, you can be assured of a segregated Internet in future. And those are some of the stories we're working on here at NetCast News. And that's our report for now. Thanks for joining us from this update at NetCast News from the people's perspective. Join us for more later. See you soon.